The Roth conversion question, Vanguard says most people ask wrong. Most Roth conversion advice starts with one simple question. Will my tax rate be higher in retirement or lower? It sounds responsible. It sounds logical. And according to Vanguard's own research, it's usually the wrong place to start. Not because the question is foolish, but because it's incomplete. Let's slow this down and talk about what actually helps in real life. If you've ever looked at a Roth conversion and thought, I don't want to get this wrong, that makes sense. This decision feels permanent. Once you convert, there's no undo button. And that pressure causes a lot of thoughtful people to freeze, or to follow a rule they've heard repeated for years. Vanguard looked at this exact problem and came to a surprising conclusion. The classic rule says, if taxes will be higher later, convert now. If taxes will be lower later, wait. Clean, simple, comfortable. But Vanguard found that most real financial lives don't behave that neatly. Income changes over time. Deductions come and go. Required withdrawals can push taxable income higher later in retirement, and different pools of money get taxed very differently. Your tax rate doesn't move in a straight line. So comparing today's tax bracket to a guessed future bracket often misses what really drives the outcome. Here's the framework Vanguard uses instead. They focus on something called the break-even tax rate. In plain English, it's this. The break-even tax rate is the future tax rate where converting or not converting leaves you with the same after-tax result. Above that rate, converting helps. Below it, it doesn't. This isn't a prediction, it's a reference point. And that shift alone tends to lower anxiety. Here's why this matters so much. Vanguard's research shows that in many real-world situations, the break-even tax rate is lower than a person's current tax bracket. That means a Roth conversion can still make sense even if your tax rate ends up lower in retirement than it is today. That's the part almost no one hears. You don't need taxes to go up later. They just need to be higher than the break-even point. Let me make this feel more human. Imagine two people with similar retirement savings. One only asks, what tax bracket will I be in later? The other looks at how the conversion is funded and what it replaces. Same conversion, different outcome, because not all dollars are equal. This brings us to the first factor Vanguard highlights. Where the tax money comes from matters a lot. If conversion taxes are paid from the IRA itself, you're shrinking the amount that gets to grow. But if the taxes are paid from cash or from money sitting in a tax-inefficient taxable account, you're effectively upgrading weaker dollars into one of the most tax-efficient accounts available. That alone can lower the break-even tax rate. The second factor Vanguard points out is one most people overlook entirely. Some IRA money may not be fully taxable. If you've ever made non-deductible IRA contributions, whether intentionally or because your income was too high for a deduction, part of your IRA may already be after tax. That portion converts without being taxed again. So the decision isn't tax everything now versus later. It's often tax some now and some not at all. For many households, this quietly changes the math. The third factor Vanguard highlights is longer term but powerful. A Roth conversion today can unlock future Roth contributions. If pre-tax IRA balances are blocking clean Roth contributions, converting or repositioning those balances can clear the path. Over time, that can mean years, sometimes decades, of additional money growing tax-free instead of in a taxable account. Vanguard's modeling shows that when future Roth contributions are unlocked, the break-even tax rate can fall dramatically. At that point, the conversion isn't just about today's tax bill, it's about future flexibility. If this way of framing Roth conversions feels calmer, you'll probably enjoy the rest of the channel. Everything here is about understanding first, not pressure. Here's the reframe Vanguard's research supports. A Roth conversion isn't a guess about future tax policy. It's an evaluation of trade-offs. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be informed. If you enjoy this calm approach to explaining complex topics, you'll likely enjoy the rest of the videos on our channel. Subscribe and like to get weekly updates. So, it's all about your BETR. When you understand your break-even tax rate and the few factors that actually move it, the decision becomes quieter. Less fear, more clarity. And one important note for timing. This framework is based on current tax law as we head into 2026. Roth conversions are still allowed. They're taxed as ordinary income in the year they occur, and the principles we've discussed remain fully relevant. Now, what changes over time are the details, not the need for clear thinking. So, if you've been hesitant, that doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're careful. And careful planning doesn't rush, it understands. Take a breath. You don't need certainty to make a good decision. You just need clarity. And that's where real confidence tends to begin. Thanks for watching.